Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today, I want to talk to you a short video for us to pay attention to some of the things that we usually didn't pay attention when we have a breakup and you feel all these pains. And we discuss in a different video about the effect of oxytocin, opioid, serotonin, and dopamine, and how their role is in the whole process of love and promise of love and intimacy and warmth and the whole relationship, and they act as a drug and as a withdrawal system. When the breakup happens, it's like you're going through the withdrawal symptoms of getting over a drug addiction. But there's also another thing that, of course, for that, you can go through the video that I had previously produced, which I think it has a word addiction in it, so find it out. I don't remember the title. So on top of the fact that you miss the person, you miss the investment of your time in that relationship, you miss the fact that you, having introduced with that partner and interact with her or him, depending on your type of relationship. In addition to missing that person, you're also missing the fact that you introduced yourself to that person and you interacted with that person. So you kind of miss part of yourself as that person has left your life, whether it was severed by the other side or you severed it. Either way, you feel a certain kind of a missing of part of you that was invested in that person, in that relationship, and it had become part of that person, meaning that person knowing about you now that is not in your life. It feels like if part of you has left, because you, by getting to know that person and getting that person to know you, sharing your life story, your habits, and your order with that person, your partner, now that relationship being severed, you also, on top of all the other things that we just talked about, missing the person, missing the order, and also the role of these chemicals that was secreted from your brain because of the breakup, and so on. You also miss part of you. It feels like a part of you is also gone. So you're missing part of yourself. And of course, there is another thing that we need to touch on. Remember, we talked about we should know why we want a relationship, and if the reason for relationship at the outset is similar between the two partners. In other words, you want, for the same reason that you want that relationship, she also want that relationship as well, for the same reasons. And if the reasons for wanting to be in a relationship is different, then obviously the whole goal and the whole motivation is different, and that's an alarm to begin with, a problem to begin with. But one thing, with all the differences that could be there when two people decide to be in a relationship, there is one thing always the same between the two of them. One part of the intention, the motivation, and the reason for wanting to be in a relationship, in almost all people, that is the same. That is coordinated, compatible. And that is the fact that they both are seeking stability. They each feel a relationship will bring stability in their life. Whether it's the conditioning of the society, community, and traditions, and the customs or the tribe that we belong to, it's there. And you want that relationship because you are also seeking stability. You feel that your life will be more stable, more complete if you are in a relationship. So both do, regardless of what other motivation they may be having, You may be interested in the beauty of the girl, the pleasure of it, the companionship, the intimacy, and all that. And the girl could be having the same reasons or different ones. It's because of the money or comfort or the things you have. Whatever the motivation is between these two partners, whatever your inclination is, you also you will have one part of it identical, and that is the fact that you want to have a stability in your life. And you think by being in a relationship, you'll bring stability in your life. And the other side also thinks by being in a relationship, regardless of the motivation, there'll be stability in life. And so when the breakup happens, on top of everything else that we talked about that bothers you, also feel now as if your life is not stable anymore. Now you're trying to, it's like two people in a boat, small boat. Imagine a small boat on the lake, and one of you suddenly jumps out. There's going to be turbulence on the boat, and there's going to be instability. The boat is now lopsided because at least when you guys both were in the boat, were keeping the balance of it. The weight was distributed evenly on both sides. Now one of you is gone. It's like a teeter-totter. One of you jumps off and the other one, boom, psh, bang, hits the ground. And that's what, I guess some kids, not me, but we used to do that, right? So, it's the feeling of being not stable anymore, imbalanced, that really bugs you. And at the same time, the feeling of having been betrayed. Because every one of us have grown to learn what betrayal is, how bad it is, whether it's, again, conditioning or how we've been introduced to. It's a negative thing to feel that we've been left out. All the movies we saw, the betrayal is bad, punishment, so on and so forth. So feeling betrayed is a very bad feeling that it doesn't help with while we're going through the breakup. It already has enough pain attached to it that we got to get over it. So understand, what you're really feeling is all these things, the chemical addictions that naturally secretes in the brain. Now you're addicted to that brand of that person that was causing those chemicals to be secreted, produced in your brain. The fact that that person, you're missing the norm and the order they had with that person, the intimacy, the warmth, and the fact they were used to that person, and the fact that you feel part of you is left with her, and the fact that you feel that your life is not stable because your motivation for the relationship, part of it was to create a stable relationship, whatever the reason was, and also the fact that you feel you've been betrayed. These are some of the pains. So it's not all about that very person. You're not really missing that person. Part of it, yes. We always miss. We miss our, even a pencil that we've been always writing with it. When it finishes, we kind of feel like, it would be good to have. We get used to things. Emotion goes into all sort of things. And of course, you will be missing your partner. That's part of it. But it's not all that, because if the partner really, that relationship was working on, it would never break up. So now that it's broken up, yes, you miss that very person in your life, but believe me, your pain is not all because of that presence of that person. It's because of all these other things that we talked about. So if you recognize that if the whole pain has a certain number, let's say 10, only 1 is because of that person. There are 8 or 9 other reasons that you're in pain. So don't always think that by getting her back or going after her, or she not being in your life, or he not being in your life, is the reason for your pain, and that's why you're devastated. No, there are many other reasons that all those reasons will be replaced soon enough, and there'll be like 1/10 of it, which is that very person, that brand that created that emotion in you, would be missing. But the rest of it can be easily replaced within a reasonable time. And you will find another person. We all know that this life is abundance of all the blessings that it has, and there is no one of these trees, there's no one of the roses, there's no one of this flowers, no one of everything. There's abundance of so many blessings that is in life. So is partners. there's so many people that will suit you, and you will find it's just the fact that you haven't seen them lately, the ones that you would prefer, and then you have still that other person's picture in your mind, and you think that's the only person that you would really would want to be with, or would suit you or fit you for your life, a choice of your life. But as soon as you find somebody else, that picture in your mind will be changed to that new person, and you will see what this new person has to offer, and many other wonderful things that you can share with her or with him, and then you will see that life is new, and it's not devastating, but only during the time that you go through that breakup, it seems devastation. But if you focus on the reasons that you really feel that bad, you'll see that it's not going to be lasting that long and that bad, and everything will be just fine, and you'll find a new relationship, and you'll feel just great again. Hope that would be something to cheer you up, and I'll talk to you soon.